Welcome back to Values in Action. In this segment, we have with us Kevin Kramer, who's the President of Growth Initiatives for Alcoa Engineered Products and Solutions, and Natalie Schilling, also from Alcoa, who is the Vice President of Human Resources. Can you guys expound on Bill Christopher's values and the values of Alcoa and how they've changed you?
Yeah, I'll start. I think that Bill is very correct with how the employees we expect them to act. We set expectations around treating each other with dignity and respect. I've witnessed that. And I'd say for myself personally, I joined Alcoa based on the value system and the reputation that the company's known for. So I would say that I'm here only because of that. And I've learned that people don't just say the words on the paper, they actually live them every day. A great example in the Cleveland community would be our contributions to the Max Hayes High School. We're actually working with their team of teachers and building curriculum so that we can train vocational students to bring them into the workforce and hopefully create a relationship where they get to be mentored by our Alcoa leaders. So I think that's values in action.
Now, Kevin, how has it affected you?
Well, very similar to Natalie, the values of Alcoa, how they do business, how they give back to the community was also a big motivation for me. But it went a little beyond that. There was an expectation that you should be involved in something specific and you should be an active member in an organization or on a board. And for me, I was very fortunate to join the Boys and Girls Club as a board member. And so from that expectation at Alcoa, as Bill had outlined, how we do our work, how we treat our people, and then how we give back, for me it was a great opportunity to get involved in a very important organization here in Cleveland.
Now, how has your value system changed people who are not working at Alcoa?
Well, I think as both a board member of the Boys and Girls Club and some of the other organizations I get involved in, hopefully we can share what we do at Alcoa. And quite frankly, we learn a lot from those that we get involved in. But really, in the case of the Boys and Girls Club, it really is all about the kids. And so that interaction with the kids, hopefully, I learn a different perspective. I'm very blessed that our family has not had some of the challenges that we get to work with these children. And so I see it in a very different perspective, and hopefully we can give back a little bit of not just what we're doing in Alcoa, but in this case, what we're doing with the Boys and Girls Club.
Now, you have a worldwide competition of engaging community. How does that competition work, and how has that changed the culture of Alcoa?
I think it really has made an impact on Alcoa. I think about competing around the globe. And some of the things that we're doing, particularly in sustainability and getting our employees engaged, has made a major impact in the communities where we live and work. So, for example, in Australia, we have annual tree planting days, or we're going to some of the sites, the work sites that we've been trying to refurbish and putting trees and plants back into the community. And they love it. The employees love it. They're very engaged around it. We're doing similar things down in Springdale, Arkansas. We had an employee have a single idea. It just takes one idea. He rallied the troops around, and they spent their own money in replanting trees on part of the facility where we work, where it was being recycled, and nobody else had thought to do that. So I'm very impressed with it just takes one idea. And then we have employees that are so engaged and reaching out to the community, and I think reinforcing Alcoa's very strong reputation in sustainability.
Kevin, Natalie, I want to thank you for being on the show and sharing the ripple effects of Alcoa's values and how it's changed you. And we're going to be back in a moment with our community panel. Welcome back to Values in Action. We're here with our community panel consisting of Barbara Marlowe, who is the Director of Community Engagement at Dworkin and Bernstein Law Firm, Ohio Lawyers Give Back, and Renee Dryas, who is the editor and publisher of the Learning Post magazine. Thanks for being with us. How do you feel about Alcoa and what you heard from Bill Christopher and his people?
Well, I thought he was very, very articulate, and I think that they're doing a wonderful job of trying to reach out to so many of their employees to incorporate them into the the corporate culture that he's trying to establish, one of values and giving back to the community. And it is hard. It's very hard to round up all kinds of people and get them all on the same path. But I think what they've done thus far has been exemplary, and I think the example that was given about the employees that on their own took an initiative to plant some trees just goes to show how they're making great progress.
Now, Renee, how do we take this value and success of Alcoa and spread it in our community?
Well, a perfect example of that is when they discussed university settlement, and they were just there last night. I happen to have experience having sat on the University Settlements Board for years, and it is by far the poorest neighborhood in Cleveland. And we used to get so excited as a board when Alcoa would be coming, and they give of themselves, the people, their staff, their executives, they're all there. It is so cool. So that example, and the tutoring, assisting with the tutoring, that's a classic example of them giving back at the community level from all levels of their corporation.
Being a leader, to be a leader is all about leading yourself. But if you do not know what in you leads and what in you requires leading, then the wrong element in you starts to lead and you fall into troubles and all. So the real thing which leads you is your value system. And if you don't have the value system planted in you, you are going to be led by somebody who is going to put you on the wrong path.
What about the ripple effect of their having 20,000 ambassadors in the world? What do you think that does?
I think it is one of those situations, because of their value systems and because of how they put them out to the community and to their own employees, it automatically almost encourages others that they touch to come into the same headset, the same mindset.
I want to thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Renee. And we're going to be back in a moment with a final comment from Ratanjit and me. Welcome back to Values in Action. Ratanjit and I are talking about Alcoa and Bill Christopher and his team. Ratanjit, it seems to me that one of the messages from Alcoa is, how do we scale values? You know, corporations talk a lot about scaling product. You have a little test in one area, the product goes well, how do you scale it around the country? And I think that Alcoa has a unique opportunity to scale values by their 20,000 employees, becoming ambassadors of those values.
Yes. You see, one of the main purpose of our show is to bring out the hidden jewels in our community. These corporations have survived the global competition. They are known for their quality. They're known for their values. And they come here and talk about their values. And the greatest thing we learn from them is it is their values, it's their quality which has made them competitive. And they have 20,000 employees worldwide, and these are really the ambassador of those values. But right now, maybe they are only holding these values within themselves. What we want to do them is actually become active ambassadors of those values and take it out into the community. And the multiple.
I agree with you. We all have a tendency, we're all guilty of the same thing. We segment ourselves. We might be different people in church or synagogue or mosque or wherever we pray than we are in the business world or in the school world or with our families. And the idea is integrating our values so that we're the same person wherever we go. I think similarly with Alcoa, I'm not saying that they're not doing some of this, but they have an opportunity as being a role model for the world, for a corporation where their employees are saying, I might be learning these values in the workplace at Alcoa. Certainly I'm taking some of my family values and cultural values with me, but I'm also spreading them in my community to my friends. I'm talking up the values to my children, to my friends, to their schools, etc.
Now the most interesting part of this is that once you begin to teach anything, you begin to internalize those. To benefit to Alcoa employees is that, yes, they practice, they remember, they do this, but when they begin to become the ambassador and they begin to teach these values to the community, to the children, to whoever they come across, then they also internalize it and it grows.
I want to encourage all of you to join us on Twitter. Send us your tweets at Values Action.
Join us next week for more Values in Action.